Chapter 7. The next morning, Viren and Anisha walked downstairs after getting ready and sat on their seat. Alya and her parents started serving them. Anisha took a sip of coffee. Drinking the coffee, her anger reached to the peak. She threw the cup on the floor and shouted angrily, "It's been 2 months, still you don't know how to make a good coffee. You all are idiots. What are doing in my house if you can't do anything properly? You can't make 1 cup of coffee properly." Viren looked at Alya's teary eyes. He gets up from his seat and said in loud tone, "Stop it, ma'am. If you don't like her hand's coffee, then go and make with your own hand. And in my opinion, coffee is great." Anisha interrupted him and said with arrogance, "Did I ask for your opinion? No. And if you are feeling so bad for your ex-wife, why don't you go and make coffee for me? I just want my morning coffee. It does not matter who made this." They were looking at each other with red eyes. Viren broke the eye contact and announced, "Fine. I will make coffee for you." Saying this, he walked toward the kitchen and started preparing the coffee for her. Alya walked behind him and said, "Viren, you don't need to do this. I can do this." She was going to touch coffee pan, but Viren stopped her and said, "No problem, Alya. She shouted on you daily for the coffee. If she wanted to shout on someone, it should me. I don't like to see your teary eyes daily. It's all right." Alya burst into tears and said, "I am sorry, it's my fault." Viren holds her hand and said, "Alya, we can't undo the past. I told you. After some time you will regret your decision, but leave this. We can't do anything except bear her and wait for 1 year to over soon." Viren pours the coffee in cup and walked toward Anisha, followed by Alya. Anisha takes the cup from Viren's hand and took a sip. After drinking the coffee, she said, looking at Viren, "I must say, you made a good coffee. Better than your ex-wife. From tomorrow onwards you will make coffee for me." She finished her breakfast and gets up from the chair and left for her office. Few days passed. Anisha was in presentation room. Viren was also present. When the person finished the presentation, she shouted on the person, "You can't do this properly. I have told you about the presentation 2 weeks ago. I am paying for your work, not to keep you as a showcase. If you can't do things properly, just leave the job. There are so many people who can do this work properly on half of the salary you are getting. I don't want to hear any excuse. Finish the work till tomorrow, otherwise quit the job." She finished the sentence and walked toward the exit with attitude. Viren was arranging the files when he heard 2 men were talking about Anisha. First man, "I don't know what's her problem. Can't she behave normal? We can't even breathe properly in her presence. She is such a nightmare." Viren sighed. It was normal for an employee to bitching behind his or her boss, so he ignored this. But the other man's statement caught her attention. Other man laughed and said, "Yes, must say she looks hot when she was angry. Her body is so attractive. I wish I can sleep with her even for 1 night. I was feeling hot imagining her under me all naked." Before he could complete, a punch land on his face. Viren holds his collar and said angrily, "How dare you to talk like this about her, you bastard," and started hitting him. Anisha's PA informed her about the fighting. She rushed toward the conference room and shouted, "What's going on there? You are here to work, not to do these dramas. This is my office, not a vegetable market." They both stopped fighting hearing her voice. Anisha took a deep breath and asked, "What's going on? Why are you fighting like animals?" They both remained silent. Anisha looked at them for good 1 minute. Then she walked toward her cabin and asked her PA to bring CCTV footage. After watching the CCTV footage, she calls Viren inside the cabin. She looked at Viren. He was standing in front of her desk. She gets from her chair and walked closer to him. She said, folding her hand on chest, "I watched CCTV footage. You know what, you don't need to become hero and fight for me. This is very common for me." Viren looked at her. He said angrily, "Ma'am, I did not do anything to become hero in your eyes. You are a girl, and second thing, agree or not, but you are my wife. Your respect is mine. I can't bear anyone says rubbish about you." He paused for a few seconds and said, taking a deep breath, "Leave it. I am talking to whom? The girl who don't have any emotions. The only thing you know is money and hurting other people." He said these lines and left her cabin, closing the door with a thud. Anisha kept looking at his retreating back for some time. She sighed and walked outside. Anisha walked toward the man and asked loudly, making everyone hear her voice, "So, you want to sleep with me?" The person remained silent. He lowered his voice. Anisha speaks again. "Come on, if you are a man, speak in front of me what you want. Don't act like a coward, come on." He remained silent. Anisha lands a tight slap on his face. She slapped him again and said, "Dare you to speak like this, don't you know me? I am Anisha Mather. I can't take bullshit from people like you. What are you in front of me, a low-class worker? How dare you to speak like this? Kiera, call police and arrest this man." The man gets scared. He fell on her legs and begged, "Please ma'am, I am sorry. Please forgive me." Anisha ignored him and turned toward other man and said, "You are enjoying when he was talking shit about me, isn't it? You are fire. And help your friend and his family." She left the place, ignoring their begging. Viren and Anisha entered the house at the same time. They looked at each other for a few seconds, then diverted their gaze and resumed walking. Alya looked at Viren's face and asked with concern, "Oh my God, Viren. What happened to you?" She holds his hand and made him sit on the sofa and asked again, "What happened to your face? Did you fight with anyone?" She asked her mother to bring a first aid box for Viren. Viren looked at her and said, I fell from stairs, don't worry. I am okay." Alya nodded. She is going to take first aid box from her mother's hand when Anisha come between, and take the first box and said, "Alya, I am here. You can see my husband is injured. As his wife it's my duty to treat his wound, not an outsider like you." Viren looked at them. He understands they are going to argue. He immediately snatched the first aid box from Anisha's hand and said, "I can take care of myself. Thank you for the help." Saying this, he left for his room. Alya tried to walk behind him when Anisha's hold her hands and said, "I am here for my husband. You don't need to get worried about him." She smirked, seeing her pale face, and left for her room. Chapter 8. Anisha stepped inside the room and saw Viren was applying cream on his wound. He was applying cream on his neck with left hand, and he was having difficulty to do this task. She walked closer to him, took cream from his hand, and going to apply to him when he stopped her and said rudely, "I don't need your help, I am okay. I can manage by myself, thank you." "It's all right. You will not get burned if I touch you, and I don't want your ex-wife to get a chance to touch you, taking this as an excuse," she said while sitting on the bed in front of him. She took the cream from his hand and started applying on the wound on his face. This is the first time they were so close to each other for the first time. He studies her features. She is beautiful and looked innocent. He thinks in his mind, how innocent she looks from outside, but in actual she is selfish and heartless person. He come out of his trance when Anisha touched his wound. He hissed in pain. "Ma'am, slowly it's paining." She nodded and started applying slowly on his wound. She was applying cream on his wound when Alya entered the room. She has turmeric milk glass in her hand. She was shocked to see Viren and Anisha in this position. She was fuming in jealousy. To disturb them, she said loudly, "Viren, your milk. Drink this, it will help your wound to heal faster." Anisha looked at her face. She smirked and said, "Alya, you should knock before entering the married couple room. What if we were kissing or something? It would be embarrassing for both of us. Remember for next time." Then her gaze falls on glass of milk. She said sweetly, "Nice, Alya. You are taking your duty of head servant very seriously. You brought milk for my husband without saying. So nice of you. Just wait a minute. I am coming, washing my hands." She walked toward the washroom. Alya was looking at her retreating back until she closed the door of the washroom. She turned toward Viren and asked, "What are you doing with her?" Viren sighed and said, "Alya, she is applying medicine, and before you start telling, for your kind information I have tried to stop her, but as usual she did not listen to me." Alya was going to say something when Anisha entered the room and ordered her, "Alya, it's getting late. You should go and sleep. Viren needs to do rest, as you can see he was injured. And bring tomorrow breakfast in our room. Viren is not going to office tomorrow." Alya looked at Viren sadly and left the room half-heartedly. Viren was going to get up from the bed when Anisha said, "No need to get up. You can sleep on the bed tonight, and yes, you don't have to come to office tomorrow. You are lucky. I am giving paid leave to you." She said these lines, pick up pillow and blankets. She went to the sofa and slept without listening to his reply, while he kept looking at her for some time. He laid on the bed and thinks about today's event until sleep overtook him. The next morning, the sun rays flickered through the curtains, brings her out of the dreamland. Blinking her eyes finally, Anisha opened her eyes and saw Viren, who was standing in front of the mirror wearing formal plain white shirt with black pants. She gets confused and asked, "I told you today is your day off. You don't need to go office today." Viren turned toward her and said, "I am not a company boss like you. I have to report to my manager daily, and can't take leave without informing him in advance." "So what? I will tell him you are not coming to office today, she said, tying her hairs. Ma'am, remember nobody knows that we are husband and wife. If you tell them about my leave, it creates doubt, so it would be better if I go to office today. Anyway, I have already applied for the leave 2 days later, as it's Alya's parents' wedding anniversary, and we are going outside on that day, as they wanted to visit temple where they got married. Viren took his laptop bag and left for his office. Anisha holds the sofa cover tightly. She was looking angry. She gets up from the sofa and started throwing items and shouted, falling on the floor. No, no. Mr. and Mrs. Vedanth, you can't celebrate anything from now onwards. Your bad days are coming. Let's wait and watch. She wiped her tears and said, No, Anisha, it's not your time to cry, but there. Be strong, you have to take your revenge, you can't be weak. Saying this, she walked toward the washroom to get ready. Viren comes downstairs. Alya worriedly walked toward him and asked with concern, Viren, how are you now? Are you still feeling pain anywhere? Viren smiled and shook his head and said, Alya, don't worry, I am okay. Pain is gone after drinking your special turmeric milk. Now don't you worry. Alya smiled, she asked. But why are you going office? Anisha told me. You are not going office today. You should stay at home and take rest today. Alya, I am okay. I have to finish the file today. That's why I can't take leave today. But don't worry. I will try to come early in the evening. Alya nodded. Viren patted her cheeks and left. Viren was going to start his bike, but he felt pain in his arms. He gets up from his bike and said, I don't think I can travel by bike today. I think I should travel by bus or auto. After thinking this, he goes outside, but the house is at isolated area. Mostly rich people stays here, so public transport is rare here. He was waiting for the auto, bus or taxi when Alina asked her driver to stop the car in front of him. She slided the window and said, Come, I will drop you. He refused. No thanks, I will manage. Anisha laughed and said, Don't be stupid, Viren. We both know it's difficult to get public vehicle here. Besides, you are getting late for the office. If wait for more 10 minutes, you will reach office late, and your salary will cut. Viren thinks for a while. After taking a deep breath, he opened the front seat and sit. Alina smiled and ordered her drive to start the car. Chapter 9. Viren, Alya and her parents were discussing Alya's parents' wedding anniversary plans. What to do tomorrow? Anisha walked near them and said with attitude, Tomorrow, few guests are coming. She forwarded the list toward Alya's mother and said, Prepare all these items till 1 p.m. and clean the house. The guests are very important. I want everything perfect and on time. Viren, Alya and her parents looked at each other, not understanding what to say. Viren stands up from his seat and said, Ma'am, I told you tomorrow is uncle and auntie anniversary. We are going outside. You asked servants to do these things. Anisha folds her hand on the chest and said, looking at Viren, Mr. Malhotra, I think I did not give you right to question my decisions. I am the owner of this house and yours too. So it would be better if you stay silent when I was talking to my workers. By the way, I forget to inform your leave has been cancelled because tomorrow it's compulsory for every worker to come to the office tomorrow. She shifted her gaze toward Alya and her parents and said strictly, Remember, I want everything perfect. I will not tolerate a single mistake. She looked at their faces, seeing their paled face, a satisfying smile come on her face. Anisha was walking toward her room when Viren rushed toward her and held her hands angrily and said angrily, Why are you doing this? You have some hidden intention behind everything. You knew tomorrow is their anniversary. You are doing everything intentionally. You are intentionally trying to hurt everyone. Why? Anisha jerked his hand and said angrily, I am not answerable to you. Viren looked at her and said, It can be either you have some hidden motive, or you are sadist and selfish person who likes hurting people. Anisha smiled faintly and said, It's your choice. You can think whatever you want, I don't care. Yes, I knew that. You don't care. You are the selfish person, who don't understand others' pain. Viren snapped at her. Anisha started laughing at him. Yes, yes. You are correct, Mr. Malhotra. I am selfish person. I like when people were sad. I don't have a heart. But you can't do anything because you are my servant. You can just sit and watch the drama. Nothing else you can do. And this is the last time. I am warning you, don't touch me. She looked at him for a good 1 minute, and left for her office. In the evening, Anisha was walking toward her room when she heard Alya's voice. Viren, it's okay. We can celebrate Mom-Dad's anniversary in the evening. We will go to nearby hotel or someplace. Alya's mother added. Yes, Beta son. Alya is right. Why are we spoiling our mood for that girl? She is such a bitch. Viren interrupted her and said. Auntie, I know she did wrong, but we don't have to say something bad about anyone. Alya's mother made a face, but nodded her head. Anisha stood there for a few minutes. She picked up her phone and dialed someone number and walked toward her room. Next day, Alya and her mother were arranging dishes on dining table when Anisha welcomed her guests. She said with a smile. Hello Mr. Middle and Mr. Sharma, welcome to my home. They smile and shake hand with Anisha. Mr. Middle smiled and said, Thank you for inviting us to your home. Then she welcomed them inside and asked to sit on the sofa. Anisha settled herself on the sofa and shouted, Alya, bring water for our guests. Then she asked them, What would you like to have, tea or coffee? Mr. Middle replied, Coffee. Mr. Sharma replied, Coffee. She turned toward Alya and going to speak when she saw Viren was entering the house. She walked toward him and said, joining her hand with his, making everyone present in the shock except the guests. She lovingly said, Viren, you came? I was waiting for you. Guests are already here. Let me introduce you to them. She dragged him and introduced to the guests. Mr. Middle, Mr. Sharma, meet my husband Viren Malhotra. Then she introduced Viren to everyone. Viren was shocked to see her behavior. It was her who did not want anyone to know about their marriage, and here she was introducing him as her husband. He composed himself and shook hand with the guests. Anisha made him sit on the sofa. Anisha and the guests were discussing on the project. Viren was in his room to change his clothes while Alya and her mother was serving tea and coffee. By mistake, cup fell on the floor. Anisha gets up from the sofa and shouted on Alya. You can't do one thing properly. Look at this. I am sorry, Mr. Middle. She again turned toward Alya and ordered her. Alya, clean this fast. Alya was shocked to hear her. She was stood there like a statue. Anisha yelled at her. Don't you have ear? I said clean this. I don't like to repeat my words. Alya closed her eyes. Tears started rolling through her eyes. With teary eyes, she started picking cup pieces. Her parents are looking at her with tears, while Anisha was looking at her with a satisfying smile. Anisha, who just entered, shocked to see the scene. He was going to help Alya when Anisha holds his hands and said strictly, I don't want to see any drama. This investment is very important for me. I don't want to lose this deal because of your so-called love. What will I tell them if they ask me why my husband is helping a mere servant? She is not servant. Anisha snapped at her. She smiles faintly and said, She is. Legally she is my servant. This deal is worth 100 crores if I lose because of you and your ex-wife. You both have to pay me, and I know you can't pay me even you sell yourself. Viren remained silent as he has no reply. He was silently watching Alya cleaning the floor. Not able to see this anymore, he was going to leave when Anisha holds his hand and said, I can't teach you everything. It's a bad manner if you leave when guests are here. Viren removed his hands from her grip, but he stands near her. They were on dining table. Alya and her mother were serving food while Viren, Anisha and guests were eating the dinner. One of the guests says, Ms. Anisha, food is amazing. Your cook is so good. Anisha smiled and said, Thank you. And it's Mrs. Anisha Viren Malhotra. She turned toward Viren, who was looking at her with a shock. They were looking at each other. Their eye contact broke. Hearing a glass-shattering voice, they turned toward the source. Seeing Viren and Anisha looking at each other like this, the bowl fall from Alya's hand. She immediately apologized. I am sorry. Mr. Middle said, looking at Anisha. I am suggesting to change your servants or provide training to them. They don't have focus on their work. Anisha glared at Alya and said, Thank you for your suggestion. I will keep this in my mind. After dinner, they were going when Mr. Sharma said, Mrs. Malhotra, we are ready to sign the deal, but we want you to come to our resort. We want to sign the deal there, and inviting you to become our guest. This invitation is for both Mr. and Mrs. Malhotra. Anisha smiled and said, Thank you for the invitation, we will definitely come. She turned toward Viren and asked, Isn't it Viren? We will visit their resort. Viren looked at Alya, who was looking at her with teary eyes, but he does not have any option. He composed himself and said, Yes, we will undoubtedly visit. After some time the investors left. Anisha turned toward Viren and said, Viren, the deal is very important. We have to leave early morning. Here, read the contract carefully. She gave the file to Viren and left. Viren turned toward Alya and her parents. He apologized to them. I am sorry, Uncle, Auntie Alya. I can't say no. You know she will again blackmail us. And I can't go anywhere with you, as this work is important. He walked closer to Alya and said, Alya, she was doing everything intentionally. I don't know what was her motive behind this, but she was trying to hurt us. You have to be strong, don't give up. Alya looked at him with teary eyes. He patted her cheeks and left. Chapter 10. The next day, Viren and Anisha were ready to go to the resort. Anisha was getting ready while Viren went to meet Alya. He said softly, Alya, I am going with Anisha. Take care of yourself, uncle and auntie. Alya nodded and said, Don't worry, I will take care of myself. You also take care of yourself, and remember to eat on time. Please stay away from that woman, you were right. She was playing game with us. She was hurting us intentionally. I don't know what I did wrong with her that she was taking revenge on me. Viren sighed and said, We can't do anything, Alya. We have to wait and watch what she will do something. But don't worry, I am with you, never think you are alone. I will always protect you from her. Alya smiled and hugged him. He reciprocates the hug. Viren and Alya broke the hug, hearing Anisha shouting, Viren, 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 where are you? He sighed and said, Okay, Alya, I am going. Take care. Saying this, he walked toward outside. Viren went outside while Anisha was already stand here folding her hand. He walked near her and asked, What happened? Why are you calling me? She turned toward him and said, We are getting late. Go and bring the car. Viren looked at her with confusion. Call the driver. He was on the leave. We don't have any other option. Take the key and bring the car. Do fast, she said while keeping the keys on his hand. He does not want to argue with her. So silently he walked toward garage and bring the car. The car stopped in front of Anisha. She opened the back door and sit. After settling herself, she ordered him, Let's go. Viren shook his head and accelerate the car engine. After 3 hours of driving they finally reached to the resort. When they reached resort, Anisha's partner welcomes them. Welcome Mr. and Mrs. Malhotra. Anisha smiled and said, Thank you, must say your resort is nice. And you can call me Anisha. They thanked her, they forwarded their room key and said, You must be tired due to journey, please go and rest. We will discuss the project later. Anisha nodded. Viren and Anisha walked toward their room. The room is big and luxurious. The room has big king-size bed with side tables. Lamps are placed on the side table. 3 cedar sofas were placed near the window. The room has TV, coffee machine, refrigerator. Viren was going inside the washroom when Anisha stopped him and said, Wait, I will go first. Viren turned toward her and said, Why? It was me who came first. Anisha walked closer to him and said, It does not matter. It was me who was going to pay for this room, so technically this is my room. Viren sighed. He gestured her to go. Anisha gave him a winning smile and stepped inside the washroom. At evening, Viren, Anisha and investors were sitting in the office. They were discussing on the contract. Viren was sitting beside Anisha. He was looking at Anisha, no matter how arrogant and rude she is. But he can't deny her business skills are very good. She has confidence and clarity toward her work. She is very hardworking and passionate about her work. After some time, they signed the contract. The servant bring coffee for them. He was giving coffee to Anisha, but in the process the coffee was going to fall on Anisha's hand. But Viren bring his hand in between and coffee falls on his hand. The servant immediately apologized to him. Viren smiled faintly and said while cleaning his hand with tissue, Take care next time. What if the coffee fell on her hand? The owner gets angry and shouted on the waiter, What is this? Where is your focus? Look at his hand, it's get red. Viren stopped the owner of the resort from scolding. Hey, it's okay, he did not do it intentionally. It's happened sometimes and I am okay. I will go and apply the ointment. After saying this, he gets up and walked toward the washroom to wash his hand. Anisha was looking at Viren's retreating back with an unknown emotion. She came out of her trance hearing Mr. Middle voice. I am sorry Mrs. Malhotra about the incident. Anisha assured him. No problem. I am sure he is okay. Ask the waiter to take care next time. The waiter apologized again and left the room. He continued with a smile. I must say you are very lucky. Your husband is very caring and loving. The way he protected you, it's wonderful. I hope he will care about you and protect you the same way, his whole life, like he did now. Anisha does not say anything. She excused herself and left. After some time, Viren comes out of the washroom. He looked around for Anisha. He confusingly asked to the investor, Where is Ma? He stopped realizing he was going to call Anisha by ma'am. He did not want them to doubt on their relationship. He composed himself and asked, Have you seen Anisha? It sounds weird calling Anisha by her name, but he shrugged his thoughts. The investors informed him that Anisha went to her room. Viren thanked him and walked toward his room. While walking toward his room, he met the same waiter. He apologized to him and thanked for saving his job. Viren just smiled and asked to take care for next time. Viren stepped inside his room. He saw Anisha was working on the laptop. He sighed and went toward the chair and sit on it. He was looking at his wound when he heard Anisha's voice. Ointment is on the table, apply it. I don't want your so-called lover to come closer to you because of your wound. She said all these words without looking at him. Viren does not want any help from her. But he is feeling pain, so silently took the cream and started applying on his hand. Chapter 11. After some time, Viren looked at her. She was searching for something in her bags. She was looking worried and panicked. She threw all the items of the bag out and started searching for something. With disappointment, she put back all the things in her purse back. She rubbed her forehead. Viren does not pay much attention to her and walked inside the washroom. He comes out of the washroom when he heard her voice. She was talking on the phone. Hello, please send housekeeper to room number 1234. After some time, the housekeeper came. Anisha handed him the piece of paper along with money and said, bring these medicines from nearby pharmacist shop. I forget to bring them. Housekeeper nodded and left. After half an hour, the housekeeper returned and informed her that he can't find the medicine and it will be available tomorrow. Anisha took the paper from him angrily. She crumbled the paper and threw on the floor. It was night. Anisha was sleeping on the bed while Viren was sleeping on the sofa. Viren opened his eyes hearing a shouting voice. His gaze fell on Anisha, who was moving in the sleep. First he decided to ignore her, as he does not want to do anything with her. But the shouting voice increases. He sighed tiredly. He gets up from the bed. He can't leave her like this because of humanity. He walked closer to her and saw she was sweating. He heard murmuring voice. Mom! Mom, please don't leave me. I can't live without you. Anisha does not understand what to do. He remembered how his mother used to sit beside him and stroke his hair whenever he was afraid of anything when he was a child. Viren thinks for a while. Not having any other option, he sat beside her. He holds her one hand while started stroking her hair from his other hand. After some times he felt she was relaxed now. He tried to get up, but she clenched him tightly. He tried to come out of her grip, but her grip is tight. He can't do anything, otherwise her sleep will get disturbed. Not having any other option, he sleeps there in sitting position. The next morning, the sun rays flickered through the curtains, bring her out of the sleep land. She slowly opened her eyes with great difficulty, feeling a strong headache. She tried to get up but stopped, feeling some weight on her hand. She looked around and saw Viren was sleeping in sitting position beside her. Suddenly anger engulfed her. She jerked his hand, making him open his eyes. Viren opened his eyes and looked at her, who was looking at her with bloodshot eyes. He hurriedly gets up from the bed and tried to explain her. Ma'am, last night. Before he could complete, she gets up from the bed and landed a slap on his face. She holds his collar and shouted on him. How dare you? How dare you to touch me? Don't forget your position. You are just a worker, my slave. I purchased you, I paid for you. How can you think to sit on the same bed? How can you think I will let you touch me? You are just a slave. The word slave increased Viren's anger. He jerked her hand away from his collar and shouted on her, matching her tone. You are right, I am your slave. But if I remembered according to the contract you want baby from me, then what happened now? According to my knowledge, we have to touch each other for having a baby. Then why are you reacting like this? Anisha was numb listening to him. She does not have any answer to his question. Viren chuckled, seeing her silent, and said, So, I was right from the starting. These contract marriage, and everything was just drama. You have some hidden motive behind this marriage. The baby, the heir. Everything was a lie. You are taking revenge of something from Alia, isn't it? Hearing him, Anisha composed herself and said, looking into his eyes, I am not answerable to you. You can think whatever you want. But the truth is, you are my slave, nothing else. Don't think yourself as my husband. She was going to walk away when Viren holds her hand. He pulled her toward him and said, Even though I am your slave and I hate you, but I have some humanity within me, unlike you. You were crying and shivering last night. I was just helping you. I am sorry, I tried to help you. It was my biggest mistake. Saying this, he walked out of the room. Anisha looked at his retreating back and fall on the floor. She burst into tears. Viren was walking in the corridor angrily when the same housekeeper stopped him and said, Sir, Madam has ordered this medicine. Yesterday it was out of stock, but now the medicine are available. These are her medicine. Can you please give this to her? Viren looked at the packet. He nodded his head and took the packet. He was walking back to his room when he bumped with someone. The packet fall on the ground. He said sorry to the person and bent to pick up the medicine. His gaze fall on the medicine where depression was written. He thinks in his mind. She was taking medicine for the depression. He shrugged his thoughts, remembering Anisha's harsh words. He hurriedly collected all the items and put them back in the packet and walked toward the room where Anisha was putting her clothes in the suitcase. Hearing the door click voice, Anisha moved her gaze toward the door. They looked into each other's eyes for some time. She diverted her gaze and said, clearing her throat, "We are leaving in half an hour, pack your luggage. Be at time, I don't like late comers." She said all these things and walked toward the washroom. Viren put the packet on a side table. He packed his luggage. After half an hour, they left for their home.